I have to ask you about the big picture Telegram. We've already talked about the fact that you own 100% of it. And there's a lot on the business side of it, the business structure of Telegram is fascinating. You've invested maybe hundreds of millions of dollars of your own money. As far as I know, you take a salary of what, $1?
1 dirham is 1/3 of that.
1/3 of a dollar. And in 2024 was the first time Telegram was profitable. So one of the interesting questions is here that we could talk for many hours about, but I'd love to get a high view picture. So you've left what I understand, what I think is a huge amount of money on the table by sticking to your principles. For example, not doing advertisement that's based on user private data, which basically every social media company does. So the only advertisement that Telegram does is based on channels and groups, based on the topic, not the private data of the individuals. And the other thing is, which is also gangster and incredible, is you don't do a news feed, which is the most addictive and engagement-inducing aspect of social media, which feeds the very kind of addictive downside of the internet, the distraction, the engagement, drama farming aspect that we've talked about in the very beginning that you try to resist, that you think is damaging the human mind at scale. So anyway, that's just speaking to the fact that you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So how the hell were you able to be profitable? What are the ways that Telegram makes money?
Yeah, we had to innovate a lot in order to reach a point where we are profitable without having to resort to dubious business activities involving exploiting personal data of users, something that most of our competitors do. Because money has never been the primary goal, at least not for me. When I sold the remaining share of my first company, and I had to do it below market price because I didn't leave Russia completely without any pressure, as you know. I reinvested the vast majority of everything in Telegram. Telegram is an operation that is losing money for me personally. I didn't extract more from Telegram than I invested in it. I never sold a single share. But I also didn't want to sell Telegram, so how do you reach a point when you're profitable without sacrificing your values? One of the ideas we explored was a subscription model, but only for certain additional features. We wanted to keep all the existing features free and just add more business-related tools or tools for advanced users that they would have to pay for, say $4 or $5 a month. It was quite unprecedented at the time. It wasn't considered a viable option for messaging apps to do that. We launched the premium subscriptions for Telegram in 2022, and now we have over 15 million paid subscribers. This is some very significant recurring revenue. So we would receive more than $500 million from premium subscriptions alone this year, and it's growing fast. For that, we had to innovate a lot. We included over 50 different features into the premium package. And then how do you make an app that is already more powerful than any other messaging app on the market even more useful so that people would be ready to pay for this extra? That wasn't easy. That took a lot of effort.
And you're constantly adding features.
We're constantly adding features.
It's actually fun to watch. Just the rate of adding, and some of them are subtle, like the updates to improvements, expansions of polls, for example.
Yes, you keep improving the existing features and adding new ones. And every time when you add a new feature, you don't want to clutter the app.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, they're not in your way, they're invisible. That's not an easy thing to do, and most of the features maybe are not even known to the majority of our users, but when you need them, they're there. So premium is one source of our revenue. We also have ads, but they're context-based, not targeted. Of course, we leave probably 80% of value on the table because we are not ready to engage in all these practices exporting personal data.
Just to be clear, targeted ads is what most social media companies, most tech companies that do any kinds of advertisement do. And that's the kind of advertisement that uses personal data from users. Just to clarify.
Yes.
And when you said 80%, that's a lot of money.
Of course, because we would never use, for example, your personal messaging data or your context data or your metadata or your activity data to target ads. It's sad that it became synonymous with the internet industry, this kind of exploitation. But we are happy with the fact that we managed to make Telegram profitable despite that. We're also experimenting a lot with blockchain-based technologies. We're the first app to allow people to directly own their username and their digital identities using smart contracts and NFTs, removing Telegram from the picture. So, for example, Telegram cannot confiscate your username from you. It's impossible. We do a lot of things related to the ecosystem of Telegram. We have a thriving mini app platform, millions of mini app developers launching their own bots and applications.
So a lot of people are making millions of dollars on the Telegram platform.
Yes, we enable them to receive payments from the users through in-app purchase mechanism provided by Apple and Google, which I think was the first attempt of this kind to allow that both on iOS and Android and on a big platform, so that third-party developers of mini apps, which are basically websites so deeply integrated into Telegram that you can't tell whether they're standalone or they're part of their overall experience. And by providing this payment option, we're able to extract a commission from these transactions, but it's a very low commission. Presently, it's 5%. So we're not greedy here. We want people to succeed in building these tools for our users. We understand that many apps bring us users. The more users we have, the more successful and relevant Telegram becomes. We need third-party developers. I think at this point, Telegram gives developers by far the most powerful tools to create.